Hey guys, today I'm launching a brand new series on my channel called How I Got the Shot. The idea is simple. I'm going to show you some of my best photographs and I'm going to break down exactly how I took them, the whole process from start to finish, any problems I had, and hopefully we'll all learn something along the way. And the photo I've chosen to kick off the series with is this one. Firstly, let's just quickly talk about the location of the shot. It was taken at a place called Jorowa, which is local to me. It's about 5 miles from where I live, and this beach is called 7 Mile Beach, and as you can see, it's pretty nice. This is at the northern end of the beach looking south. The hill you can see in the distance is called Mount Coolangatta. Now, the first thing I need to say is that I'm not actually much of a storm chaser. In fact, I'm more of a storm sitter. I'm happy to receive them if they come overhead, but I'm not one of these people that goes charging around in a car and covering thousands of kilometers chasing storms to photograph them. Nothing but admiration for those guys. I'm not having a dig at them at all. I absolutely love the photographs they take, but I just don't do it. I don't know why. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I don't want to clock up the miles. But if a storm comes to me, then I'll happily receive its bounty. So the deal with this, on this particular evening, I knew that there was a storm coming, and I knew that it was going to hit me around about sunset. And so while everybody else was heading for cover and trying to stay the hell away from the lightning, I headed down to the beach. And the other problem is that I don't have a lightning trigger. I've always relied for these shots on taking very long exposures and hoping that lightning breaks while the shutter is open. And that was definitely the case with this photograph, which I took as a longish exposure. So let's have a look at the EXIF data for this file. As you can see, it was taken at 50mm, just shot on my prime 50mm lens. It was taken at f/19, and at that aperture, which I deliberately chose that really high aperture to try and stretch out the exposure, I got 1.5 seconds, and during that 1.5 seconds, this amazing bolt of lightning came down, and this second one, and we had some crawlers and stuff, and all of this happened within a single second. You can see this is the raw file. It's not been composited in any way whatsoever. So the way I take these shots is that basically I set myself up undercover if I can find somewhere, and I just repeatedly press the button. Sometimes I put it on the timer so that it does it automatically and takes repeated exposures, but often I just stand there pressing the button. And obviously the darker it gets, because I usually shoot these things at sunset towards the end of the day, the light is diminishing and the exposures get longer as we go along, and that was certainly the case with this one. Now, the advantage as well of shooting at f/19 is that it's sharp back to front, the whole thing's sharp. We've got this incredible sharpness in the lightning. We've got sharpness in these birds at the front of the scene here. So let's have a little look at the processing I did on this. The first thing I did was drop the highlights right down. I can show you what it looks like without that. Not actually a huge difference. What it's done is just sharpen up the lightning there. Let's drop it down. Actually, it's brought out all this stuff too. It's pretty cool. I've cranked the shadows up. Let's reset that back. Again, hasn't made a huge difference. It's just boosted a bit of the cloud. There's some light brought back there. I've changed the white balance because the camera had no way of really gauging what it should be, and I've dropped the blacks quite a bit because I wanted some contrast in the image. I bumped the clarity up here. Let's see what it looks like with that off. Again, not a huge amount of difference. It's just sharpened up, made these much more crisp. I've applied 24 dehaze. Let's try it without. Actually, that's made a really big difference. If we drop that, bring that back up to 24, you can see how useful that is. I've added some vibrance and saturation to the image. Let's take those both off. I have to say that these colors are much more like it actually was. It did not look as washed out as that in any way, shape or form. So let's just take a little quick run through the other sections of Lightroom. The only thing I think I did to this image, yeah, I added some detail, but you can see that it's, I added some sharpening, but you can see it's heavily masked. If I hold down the Option key, you can see that I'm only sharpening the lightning itself and the beach at the front there. Masked out pretty much everything else. So that, guys, is how I got the shot. This is a classic case of putting myself in the right place at the right time. There's no luck attached to this photograph, and I don't think that there's much luck attached to all the good photographs I see. They're the end result of a lot of practice and experience and persistence on the part of photographers. So a little footnote about this photograph is that what I didn't know at the time was that the lightning bolt that I photographed actually started a bushfire. Thankfully a very small one, but the local Rural Fire Service at Shoalhaven Heads were called out and actually took some photographs themselves of the scene, and I contacted them once I saw their post on Facebook and said, "You're not going to believe this, guys, but I photographed the bolt that started the fire." So guys, I hope you did enjoy this inaugural episode of How I Got the Shot. I'll be going through some more of my favourites over the coming weeks and months. So watch this space, and if you've enjoyed this video, as always, please hit the old like button, and if you really liked it, please subscribe. Thanks guys, see you next time.